this video, we're going to dive into some more complex phrases, kind of multi-part phrases. So it's going to be fun. Let's go. This one is 虽然但是 or 虽然可是, and it means even though or although. So even though this is true, this is also true. And so in Chinese, in English, we just say even though or although, something, 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 comma, and then we launch into the next phrase. In Chinese, both parts have something. So it's 虽然 means even though, but when you get to the next phrase, you start it off with 但是, which means but, or 可是. 但是 and 可是 are more or less the same. You could say that 可是 maybe is a little bit softer, a little bit less forceful of a break or a change, but more or less they're the same thing. You can think of them as the same. So 虽然但是 or 虽然可是, they both mean but, B-U-T. So here's some examples for you. We got 虽然他很高. What does that mean? Although he 很高. You should know this one by now. It comes up in almost every video. 高 means tall. 虽然他很高, 但是 but 他 his 篮球 basketball 打的 打 means to hit, but here it means to play. 不太好, not very well. So it means that even though he's very tall, he's not that good at basketball. He doesn't play basketball well. So that's the phrase. There's a couple things to point out here. This is a 打得不太好 is what kind of compliment? Do you know? A degree compliment. 打得不太好. How does he play? Not very well. And then here, 但是他篮球, that's just where 篮球 is the object of what he doesn't do well. All right. And so here I put the 虽然 before the 他, which is fine. Here I wanted to show you an example with the 虽然 after the 我. So after the subject. 我虽然 although 不是很喜欢美国菜. 不是 means not 很喜欢, very like 美国菜, American food. So even though I don't particularly like American food, 可是 but 很喜欢 very like 美国人 American people. Oh, that's nice. 我虽然不是很喜欢美国菜, 可是很喜欢美国人. So it's fine to put the 虽然 after the subject if the second part has the same subject. So it's kind of like subject and then this although but phrase kind of applies all to the same subject. If you're going to change subjects like although I really want to watch this movie, but I know in English you don't say but my friend didn't, So that would be different. You want to put the 虽然 first and then the 我 blah 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 可是他 blah 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 blah. Does that make sense? Blah 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 blah. We're not getting the blah blah blah. All right. So that's it. That is 虽然但是 or 可是. In this section, we're going to talk about the phrase 每次都. 每次都. Now, 每次, you might be able to kind of guess what that means. Well, it means every time. I can see that right there. But I mean, like from the characters, 每, we've learned that before. If it comes like 每个人, every person. And we've learned 次, which means time. It's a verbal measure word talking about how many times a certain action has happened. So 每次 means every time. Now the question is, where does it go? And so it naturally pairs with 都 because 都 means all, and usually 每, anything, always goes with 都, and it comes before the verb. So that is different. Remember when we talked about 次 before, you say 我打了三次. I hit 3 times, or I called 3 times, whatever we're talking about when we say 打. 我打了三次. It's subject, verb, 了 or no 了, depending on what's there, and then 三次. So the 三次, the 3 times comes after the verb. In this case, we're putting it before the verb, and so that's different. And so let me give you a couple of examples how it works. 我老婆, my wife, 每次, every time, 听, listens, 这首歌, to this song, 都, always or every time. It's a part of the every time do 哭起来. That means begins crying. So my wife starts crying every time she hears this song. But in Chinese, it's my wife every time hears this song 都哭起来. I hope that whole structure makes sense. And here's another example. This is from All Set Learning. It is 他每次, he every time 迟到. 迟到 means to be late, to arrive late. So 他每次迟到都, what happens? Every time this happens, 说 says 因为堵着 because it's because of 堵着 traffic jam. So does that make sense? So basically, if I would say this in English, it'd be every time he's late, he says it's because there was a traffic jam. In Chinese, the whole 因为堵着, it's a little bit shorter and it provides a little bit less information. It's kind of assumed, that he's saying it's because of this. 他每次迟到, every time he's late, 都说, every time he says, because traffic jam, or because of a traffic jam. Actually, in the very next segment, we're going to talk about this word 因为, because of. So there you have it. It's like a subject, 每次 do something. So every time that subject does something, 都 something happens. Does that make sense? That's how that structure works. It's helpful, and hope that makes sense. In this section, we're going to talk about cause and effect with 因为 and 所以. 因为 and 所以. So in English, we talk about cause by usually saying because. So because something that caused it, and then something happened. And then we talked about effect by sometimes saying therefore, or as a result, or something like that. The phrase because, therefore, is 因为所以 in Chinese. So 因为 has to do with the cause, 所以 has to do with the effect, what happened because of a cause. And so these two words each of them can be used separately, and we can use them together as a full phrase. So let's I'm going to show you an example of each one of those. So first, we're going to see 因为, which means because, by itself in a sentence. So here we have, I'll translate it and then I'll ask you about it, okay? I'll read it first. 我不能打球了. I cannot play ball 了. 因为 because 受伤了. I got hurt. So what is the cause? Where's the cause? It's right here, right? I'm sorry. It's right over here. The cause, yeah, it's over here. Because I got hurt. So this is the cause. What is this? This is the result, right? This is the effect. So the cause is got hurt. The effect is cannot play ball anymore. So in this sentence, we didn't use a word to clarify what is the effect. We just stated it, and then we said because this, tacked on at the end. Does that make sense? So that's how that worked. Now we're going to look at kind of the same word order, but now it's using 所以 there. So okay, 我太忙了. I was so busy. 所以 that means therefore 没有时间 did not have time 给你打电话 to give you a call. This is from All Set Learning. So we have I was too busy, and then we had did not have time to give you a call. So what is the cause? It's right here, right? Too busy. What was the effect? Did not have time to make a call, to call you. So the 所以 here is showing us what is the effect. 因为 cause, 所以 effect. So here we didn't use a word to specify what was the cause. We just stated it, and then we said why it happened. What was the not why with the result, the effect of it. This is the why. This is the effect. And now we're going to have a phrase with both of them together. So it's going to be because, therefore. So because this happened, therefore this is the result. And so when it's like this, it's going to be 因为 first, 所以 second. 因为他被炒鱿鱼了. That means, it literally means he got squid fried. It means fired. So it's a cool, it's a slang way to say fired. So he got fired. 因为他被炒鱿鱼了. Because he was fired, so that's the cause. What happened? 所以这几天心情很不好. These days, these several days, 这几天心情 mood 很不好, was very bad. So does that make sense? It's an 因为 this happened, cause this happened. So that's how these can work. 因为 by itself will often come here afterwards. So we state the effect and then the why. Here we have the 所以 second. So now we state the why and then what happened as a result. And then if they're used together, it's going to usually be because and therefore in that order. Anything else to say about this? This is a very minor detail, but 因为, the pronunciation of 因为, some people in China say it slightly differently. I think the most correct or the most dictionary is like this, 因为, fourth tone 为. But some people will say 因为, making 为 into a second tone, because this character can depending on what it means, can be either fourth tone or second tone. And so I think people just get it wrong, or it's just their habit. But it doesn't sound wrong because so many people say it that way. And then also, you can also say 为 as a neutral tone, 因为. And all of them will work. No one's going to be like, oh, that sounds terrible. But if you're trying to be the most correct, it's 因为. And then anything else to say? Oh, there is a way. This is a little bit more advanced. So if you're looking at this for the first time, you can turn it off. There is a way to say 因为 and 所以and switch it around so that the effect is here and the 因为 is second. But it's a formal phrase. Well, first of all, you can do it like this without saying 所以. You can just drop it off and then do it that way. That's one way. But there's a formal phrase where it's 之所以 something, 因为 something. So that's another way. I can point that out. But this is the end of this video. We have, I believe, 2 more, and HSK2 will be done. Great job. You should feel proud of yourself.